Today, Sin City is Bowl City as Las Vegas hosts the third major of the PBA's 50th season, and we welcome you inside the Cashman Center for ESPN's live presentation of the 2009 USBC Masters. Glad you're with us today. I'm Rob Stone. This is the kickoff to the USBC Open Championship, a mammoth 6-month-long tournament that kicks off next week that will feature over 15,000 bowlers. On today's show, we have just 4, and it's 4 that are evenly divided into 2 camps, veterans and those with 0 TV singles appearance. You have Tommy Jones, your 4 seed, taking on Danny Wiseman, who's in the midst of a internal retirement debate. They square off in match number 1. Your 2 seed, Steve Harman from Indianapolis, making his single television debut. And your number 1 seed is unknown but unfazed, 29-year-old John Nolan. He has 0 bowling experience on TV and 0 PBA Tour titles. 13-time titleist Randy Peterson joins us right now, and this is a tin cup type story developing this week with John Nolan. I mean, this is a guy who came out of nowhere and absolutely blew apart the field this week. What are his chances of winning today?
Tall order, Rob, tall order. Keep in mind that only 2 PBA members have ever won the USBC Masters for their first ever career title. And you're right, John did dominate this event. But today, for John Nolan, it's going to be like a Las Vegas championship prize fight. You know, everybody's got a game plan. Everybody's cocky and confident going into the fight until they take that first solid hit. Today, does John Nolan take that solid hit and fold like a bad lawn chair, or does he stay on his feet to capture his first ever career major?
Rocky. Regardless, it is going to be great theater. And talking to Nolan earlier, this is a guy who is really unaffected by the massive amounts of pressure of being the number 1 seed in his first ever TV show today.
There's a couple guys that have had great success on TV right from the start, and hopefully I can follow in their footsteps, you know. I mean, trying to approach it as if, hey, just another game, you know, throw 12 good shots and get out of here with a title, hopefully.
Well, easier said before the lights and crowd are in your face. But up next, match number 1. The 2 veterans on the show, Danny Wiseman and Tommy Jones, square off.
The Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour on ESPN is brought to you by H&R Block. Go to PBA.com and sign up to win tax services for 5 years and $5,000. H&R Block. You've got people. By the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us. By Lumber Liquidators. Hardwood flooring for less. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save 15% on your car insurance. Visit geico.com.
This is a... And we welcome you back inside the Cashman Center here in Las Vegas for ESPN's continuing coverage of the USBC Masters stepladder format today. And we begin with our 4 seed, Tommy Jones, taking on the number 3 seed, Danny Wiseman. Steve Harman waiting in the wings. John Nolan, the 29-year-old, your number 1 seed. And we will begin with Tommy Jones taking on that man, Danny Wiseman. Wiseman, number 42 in the 50th all-time greatest bowlers, taking on number 30 on that same list, Tommy Jones, the native of Simpsonville, South Carolina, looking for his first title of the season. Jones starts with the strike. This is his second televised appearance of the season. He was the number 1 seed in early January in Medford, Oregon, but lost to Wes Malott. And here is 41-year-old Danny Wiseman. 20th year on the tour, 12 Lumber Liquidator PBA Tour titles, 1 major. That, the 04 USBC Masters he won in Milwaukee. And we start off with a pair of strikes and take a look at our tournament format. And Randy, a lot of gentlemen out here this week bowling for the title.
And women. We had 465 entries, both PBA and amateur. The format was 15 games of qualifying. The field was then reduced to 63, and defending champion Sean Rash, that major top 64. They then went into match play. Match play was very unique. Get to that in a second.
So Wiseman starts off with back-to-back jacks.
Once in match play, the 64 bowlers were seated in double elimination brackets, 3-game matches. The last 4 standing, you're going to see them today, bowling for a lot of money, $60,000 and a 2-year exemption.
Not sure which one is more valuable to some of these guys, that 2-year exemption or that fat paycheck.
Only if you can get out of Vegas with all of the cash.
That's why I catch a quick flight out of town, my friend. Jones in the second. That one right of target.
It's so much tighter.
Tommy Jones very fortunate to only leave a 2-pin on this hit. Watch, the head pin goes to the sidewall, hits another pin that takes the 10 out. Last thing you want when your opponent starts with a double is to go strike open flame.
Jones, your all-time leader in televised winning percentage. 79% of the time he's on TV, he wins. 34 victories, 9 defeats, and this is his 5th major televised appearance. He has 2 titles, 1 second-place finish and 1 fourth-place finish. His 2 majors that he won, 2006 U.S. Open and the 2007 Tournament of Champions. We begin the third. Here's Jones, your 4 seed. Whoa. Almost a 7-10, make it a strike.
And it's apparent that Tommy Jones likes that left lane. You heard the comment on the right lane. Man, that lane's tight. This lane, not so much. And watch the action. That's what happens when you have a rev rate approaching 500 plus.
Jones takes a seat for Danny Wiseman. And this may be Wiseman's final season as a full-time bowler on the Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour. Well, he starts with a 3-bagger. He told us the season, not so great, guys. This was kind of my year to decide, where am I going with this? Am I gonna? And they look the same, but I don't feel the same.
Yeah, he says it's hard to get his body jump-started in the morning, and well, I can certainly relate. Once you get in your 40s, it really takes a toll on the body. All of the games, all of the travel, and just the daily grind out here on the Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour.
He's already there being retirement. He's looking forward to it, but he said a win today, and I have to reevaluate that decision. An opening 4-bagger for Wiseman.
And Danny Wiseman's playing right of where Tommy Jones is playing based on sheer power. Danny Wiseman's rev rate is in the low 300s, 320 to 330. Tommy Jones, 465, 491. So again, approaching the 500 mark for Tommy Jones. Keep in mind the average league bowler, the rev rate's around 220.
That's pretty good off the 2-pin.
So the struggles on that right lane for Jones continue.
And this is the adjustment. You heard him say it off of the 2-pin that he left the previous frame on the right lane. He tries to tighten it up a bit and leaves the 4-pin.
So Jones with an Open title, a TOC title, trying to get a Masters title, which would get him that much closer towards the Grand Slam.
Well, I've always been a big follower of bowling history, and a lot of the greats have won this tournament. So if I could add this one to my resume and have 3 majors and 3/4 of the career Grand Slam, I don't think there's much else I could say about that.
So Jones goes strike, 9 spare, strike, 9 spare. We begin the 5th. Quickly, this one's starting to slip away. from Jones. Not that he's bowling that poorly, but Wiseman has been perfect through 4. So up steps Danny Wiseman, who told us, you know, I went back this week, watched some of my old videos, went even back as far as 2000 and went back to the 04 USBC Masters that he won and kind of watched, and he liked how he was setting up back then, and it's something he was trying to emulate, get that rhythm this week, and it's worked. As Wiseman, the 3 seed, 4 frames, 4 strikes. Here he is in the 5th. 5 for 5 and a Yahtzee for Wiseman to open up the USBC Masters. We flash back to 2004, the USBC Masters in Milwaukee at Miller Park, and Wiseman defeating Patrick Allen in the final for his first and so far only major tour title.
Rob, I think Danny Wiseman's game is very suited to the type of oil pattern that they use here at the Masters, and the reason why I say that is because the back part of the lane play is very slick, and we'll get into that a bit more when we talk about the oil pattern. But Danny Wiseman's kind of a medium speed, medium rev guy, and I think that's a great matchup for this oil pattern.
Get out of there! Get down 10! And there's a wobbly 7 to boot. That's a good break.
Yeah, that's a huge break, and that's the last thing you want to see when you're Danny Wiseman and you've got a huge lead with the front 5. You certainly don't want to see the bedpost. Get out of there, 10.
That 7 had some weak knees, too. A little bit more time, it might have dropped. So his first spare attempt of the afternoon is a good one. Opens with 5 straight strikes, gets a 9 spare, heads to the bench. As we head to commercial, the conclusion of Jones-Wiseman when we return the winner to take on Steve Harman, who will be making his singles television debut. Back in Las Vegas for our continuing coverage of the USBC Masters. See Danny Wiseman right there with a 40-pin lead as we take a look at our Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood, the USBC Masters oil pattern, 39 feet.
That's right, Rob, 39 feet in length, multiple patterns this week, and very slick down the lane, and that's why you're seeing the players adjust speed. They will start playing out to break that pattern down. Once the oil pattern goes in transition, the players will move in, and they will try to find a bit more oil in the middle part of the lane. But the big key this week was keeping your hand underneath it to roll it and keeping your speed softened up so that you could get the ball to change direction down the lane.
5 300 games rolled this week, which is about average for the PBA Tour. And here's Tommy Jones, said it's been 2 different seasons for me. The first half, awful. The second half, pretty good. He had some work in Buffalo with Mark Baker, took the steepness out of his swing, and that's got him back to the success that we're used to seeing from Tommy Jones. And TJ still without a strike on that right lane.
And a lot of that steepness was due to the fact that Tommy went from 16 pounds to 15 pounds. Mark Baker got him to go back to 16, worked on his push away a bit and his body tilt. And all of a sudden, the steepness was gone.
We continue our focus on Tommy Jones. We take an H&R Block second look at TJ's approach.
Look at him starting off the edge of the approach. Big high backswing, waits on a great body position. Notice it release that the head actually goes down, not up. So he's able to stay in that great posture.
A lot like golf. Keep that head down. I don't know anything about it.
Tell that to Annika Sorenstam and David Rawl.
Kicks the 10, gets the strike. A much needed strike for TJ in the 7. He has got to start stringing them together. In fact, 0 pairs of strikes so far for Tommy Jones, and just 3 overall. Wiseman in the 7th, up 41.
And again, that pesky right lane, Rob, you can see how soft the bowling balls are entering into the 1-3 pocket, and that's why they're leaving that soft 10-pin.
Wiseman's second top 10 finish of the season. His best to date was 7th at the Tournament of Championship.
And our CATS, our computer-aided tracking system provided by Kegel, the training center. You can see where Tommy Jones is playing and where Danny Wiseman is playing. Remember, I already talked about the power advantage going to Tommy Jones, but to me the biggie is the speed differential on the right lane. Both players 3 miles an hour slower on the right lane.
So after a pair of spares, here's Wiseman in the 8th. And he's looking at a 3rd consecutive spare. So after jumping out to a huge lead, courtesy of that opening 5-bagger, Wiseman now having some difficulties.
Again, a nice break, not leaving the 2-10, the 2-8-10, 2-4-8-10 combo, just an easy single pin spare.
So this will be his 3rd consecutive single pin spare conversion. And it's 3 for 3. And there's something to be said about single pin spare conversions in a major final. Just bowl clean. Don't make any massive errors.
Yeah, and especially at this level, you just can't miss single pin spares, whether it's through qualifying match play, and especially on television when it's a 1-game match.
A chance for Jones here now to close the gap. It's 39 pins right now, but he could pair together his first set of strikes here in the 8th. Still alive, TJ. Still alive.
Well, he's got a massive cut on his middle finger, and you can see on that shot there that he really tried to catch a mittful to get that ball to face up the 1-3 pocket a little stronger. The result, his first double of the match. He now has a chance to shoot 238 if he strikes all the way to the 10th frame. Danny Wiseman already at a 237 pace.
Tommy, you can't miss your good lane.
And the good lane being the left lane in match 1 so far.
Yeah, and Tommy, he knows that this was a must-strike position for him in the 9th frame to set up the 10th to give him any chance to win this match.
This the 8th single pin spare conversion of this match between Jones and Wiseman, so neither has left anything ugly. Good shot. Jones knew he had an opportunity there in the foundation, and here's Wiseman. Opened with 5 straight strikes, and then has gone spare, spare, spare. And put his foot on Jones' throat here in the 9th. And he does just that.
Yeah, and that's really all he needed. He needs just good count in the 10th frame, and he's going to move on to face Steve Harman. Danny looks good, man. He looks like he's got his composure. He's nice and relaxed, and of course he's got a good look to the pocket. And again, easier for Danny Wiseman to maintain that little softer speed to get his ball to read the oil pattern a little bit better. Easier for him than Tommy Jones. Tommy Jones likes to throw it hard.
Again, this is the first TV appearance of the season for the 20-year vet Wiseman. Needs 6 to move on, and he goes on to a semifinal match to take on Steve Harman.
And Rob, this is his first win on television since his win at the 2004 USBC Masters.
He was 0-5 in singles competition after that point. Did win a doubles title last season with Michael Fagan in Vegas.
You and I are like peas and carrots.
We're BFFs. So Wiseman with this one wrapped up. Begins his efforts here in the bonus part of the 10th. Looking for 3 in a row. 3-bagger. 1 more to go. Now, is this experiment shot time?
You know, I don't think so, because he's pretty much locked in. He may go to a different ball. And
yeah, he's doing a ball change here.
All right, and if he goes to something a little bit stronger, he may move in just a pinch and open up the lane just a hair to see, what it would do. But this is all part of it, and anticipating the breakdown of the oil pattern.
Closes out this one with the ham bone.
Right now, they're all striking.
257 for Wiseman, who was the man in match number 1.
Yeah, it's good to see TJ bowling well again.
He won't be happy with this result, but pleased to make the show. Our thanks to Jeff Boget, the USBC president. Again, about to kick off a 6-month tournament here at the Cashman Center, the USBC Open Championship. 17,000 teams coming here over the course of the next 6 months. I'm still having difficulties wrapping my little brain around that.
Jeff Boget's a tremendous human being. What a nice man he is, and special thanks to him for his support. But what a great guy, and what a great job he does.
So Jones will look forward to next week when we're just outside of Denver and Wheat Ridge for the Geico Plastic Ball Championship. That will be a curiosity show, if you will. 257, 216. Danny Wiseman moves on to your semifinal match, if you will, where he'll take on Steve Harman. Up next, a Mike Albee flashback and more on today's out-of-nowhere #1 seed, 29-year-old John Nolan.
For more than a century, they've been your source for all things bowling. But they're not just recording history anymore, they're making history.
Now I know what the word clash means, Bill.
Welcome to the new USBC, where the latest technology meets the fresh young face of a growing sport.
Boom! Baby, yeah!
A brand new state-of-the-art training and research center is on the way. From oil patterns to entry angles, USBC is there, testing it all for the good of the game.
Well, a lot of people don't realize how important this research is. Whether it's ball motion or biomechanics, the USBC really has all the information I need to stay on the cutting edge.
It's also the new home to Team USA and the little ones on your team, as USBC coaching shapes the bowler of tomorrow.
USBC has the best coaches in the world. I can testify to that, having grown up through youth leagues and through college and Team USA, that learning the fundamentals early on really, really can catapult you into a great career.
And talk about making your membership dollars go further. USBC, local proprietors, and the Bowling Foundation raise over $2.2 million every year through charitable programs to help those who need it the most.
The work off the lanes is just as important. They say the measure of character is what you're doing when no one's looking. The USBC gives a great amount of money to charities. I think it's time to start looking.
The new USBC at bowl.com. Growing the sport, growing the community, and with your help, just plain growing.
We welcome you back to the 59th edition of the Masters. The first one held in 1951 in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is the second ever Masters in Vegas. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson here with you, and we flash back to the man who owns 3 Masters titles, the most in PBA history, Hall of Famer Mike Albee.
Yeah, what a career Mike Albee had, making over $2 million in career earnings, 8 majors. His first win came against Mike Edwards, our good buddy. His second against Hall of Famer Mark Williams, and the third of his 3 Masters titles came in Reno, 1998, against Parker Bone III.
29 career titles, 8 majors. Those 8 majors, second most in PBA history. He was voted number 6 on the 50 all-time greatest bowlers list. Multiple people have won multiple Masters titles. Danny Wiseman with the potential to do that today. He's just 2 wins away from joining this distinguished list. And we want to remind you, next week we're going to be in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, just outside of Denver, where the PBA is going to go retro here, Randy. The event, the Geico Plastic Ball Championship, will feature every competitor competing with the same plastic ball. 300 identical plastic balls waiting for them in Denver. A high curiosity factor in the Mile High City with that one.
It's going to be very interesting. You watch the bowling balls of today go down the lane, and the ball motion is completely different than when I used to use plastic.
Still to come, our number 1 seed, John Nolan. 17 bowlers have made their first PBA win a major victory. The last to do it, Brian Smith at the 2003 Masters. And here's John Nolan out of nowhere from Waterford, Michigan, with that opportunity today.
Boy, he's got
being out here chasing the rabbit every Wednesday. It's, you know, it's basically my life that I'm going to be living next year. So I wanted to get that experience, what it's like living on the road out here on the West Coast. So it's definitely helped, though, I think.
He'll be an exempt player next year. This is effort to kind of prepare for the rigors of the tour next season, Randy.
Yeah, he's going to have a full-time job next season, and today he's going to get his first taste of real pressure.
Had a good week last week, finishing 8th in LA at the Denny's Dick Weber Open. But let's not forget our other wonderful story today. Number 2 seed, Steve Harman. He seeks his first career title, and he's next. And wait till you hear about his side job. Have you heard that one, Randy?
I have.
It's good.
ESPN is brought to you by the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us. By Go RVing. Visit GoRVing.com for a free video. What will you discover? By CLR. CLR. All kinds of dirty, one kind of clean. And by H&R Block. Go to PBA.com and sign up to win tax services for 5 years and $5,000. H&R Block. You've got people.
And we welcome you back to Las Vegas and the Cashman Center for ESPN and PBA's live coverage of the USBC Masters. Number 3 seed, Danny Wiseman, a 257-216 victor over Tommy Jones. So he now takes on Steve Harman. And Wiseman will start us off. Wiseman saying his career goals: win 2 majors and 15 tour titles. Right now, he has 1 major and 12 career titles. A victory today would get him that much closer to his career goals. This will be his 5th top 20 finish of the season. Started match 1 with 5 strikes. Open up.
And some sound effects by Danny. That's his thought on how that last ball hit. But, you know, this is going to come down to who gets the finish on the right lane. Steve Harman, the higher seed, gets the choice of starting lane. He makes Danny Wiseman start the match, which makes Danny finish on the right lane. And the right lane was the tougher of the 2 lanes in the first match with Tommy Jones.
Again, every spare so far today has been of the single pin variety as Wiseman continues to stare down the lane. And we take our look now here at Steve Harman from Indianapolis, Indiana. His 2nd year on the tour, his 2nd year as an exempt bowler, 35 years of age. This is his first career TV appearance in singles competition, but earlier this year made a doubles appearance with Jennifer Petrick. There's your first semi-ugly leave of the day.
Yeah, the bucket. And not a spare that you want to be shooting a whole lot of during the telecast of the USBC Masters.
But if you're going to be doing it, frame number 1's a good place to start.
Well, and, you know, remember last season, Norm Duke needing to make the bucket to win his first ever U.S. Open. There's a couple different ways to shoot it. Straight and hard right at the 2-pin, or you can hook it into this spare.
And he cleans it up. And here's Harmon on what he took away from his TV debut in January.
The biggest thing I could take from that is knowing the pace of the TV show now, knowing that I'm going to be, it doesn't go as fast as people might think it does. I was a little worried about the shot clock and just little things like that, and I don't think I'll let those distractions bother me this time.
He was telling us yesterday, too, that when he went back to watch him on that double show, he thought he was a little more emotional than he was prepared to see from him. That's an excellent correction.
You know, when you talk about power, this guy really gets a mittful. And to give you an idea of the difference in power, Danny Wiseman's still playing around the 8th, 9th board. Steve Harman is in the 17. All because of the amount of hook. Rev rate's a bad animal.
Messenger! Don't be ashamed. Take it, Danny.
Everybody likes to receive a little message, and there's Danny's.
18 all-time money leader in PBA history, 1.46 mil. If he wins today, he'll go up to number 15 on the all-time money list at just over $1.5 million in earnings. That's more of the Wiseman we saw in match 1.
Yeah, and now you look back at the Messenger 10 pin in the second frame and how huge that was, because now it's a double instead of 9 spare, 9 spare. It's all about math, Rob.
I was told there'd be no math involved in this project when I initially signed on.
We're both in trouble.
I'll take chemistry or physics over math, please. So back-to-back jacks for Harmon. After having to take care of the bucket in frame 1 to keep a clean game. So these guys still even. Take a look at our Flomax weekly update on Steve Harman. Last week in LA, finished 49th. He is your number 2 seed today. 5-1 in match play this week. 6-0 went John Nolan in match play, your number 1 seed. This is 6th top 20 of the season and 2nd top 5 finish of the season. Something didn't sound or look or anything right on that one.
Damn. It looked a little fast. Let me see if I can get the Cat's number to come up. Now, his ball speed is about the same, right around 19 miles an hour, but it may have been just a little mishit at the bottom of the swing to get that ball to scoot past the break point just a bit.
So another challenging spare conversion for Harmon. And he has our first open frame of this Masters Championship. Right through the nose.
Yeah, and that was left of target immediately out of Danny's hand, and he knows it. Danny's been playing 8.5, 9 board. That was 10.5. So we're talking another 1.5 inches left of target, and this ball goes right through the nose, leaving the 3-6-10.
Told us yesterday, coming into the season, his decision was to bowl the whole season for the last time. Probably just roll the majors in the future. Has a potential business opportunity back home. That may be enough to keep him away from the lanes, and he throws an open frame here in the 4th. So just when Harmon gave him an opportunity with an open frame, Wiseman returns the favor.
And Rob, let me bring you up to speed in this match.
We're even?
We're even. You are now up to speed.
It's the second week in a row you've done that, and guess what? I've enjoyed it both times.
You caught on this week.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Could have had a V8.
And again, getting back to the arrows for Danny Wiseman, that location back to the 8.5 board, and that's right where he's been for 2 matches. And it's going to be interesting to see how long that shot will hold up for Danny Wiseman when you have these 2 power players in back-to-back matches left of where Danny's playing, beating up that oil pack.
Harmon looking to become the 18th bowler to win a major as their first PBA Tour title. He doesn't do it. John Nolan has a crack to do the same thing. Nolan, again, the 29-year-old #1 seed from Waterford, Michigan, is making his first televised appearance next. So Harmon matches Wiseman with strikes in the 5th, and just want to get everybody up to date on where we stand right now. We are even. We are even after 5. Move on to the 6th. Steve Harman. What did he do before he was an exempt bowler? Sold school bus parts. Bodies, chassis work, engines, you name it. He was your school bus spare part guy, and he plans to continue doing that in the off season, which is his busy time of the season. Summer's when those buses need their work.
Well, he didn't miss that one.
He drove the bus right on through that rack. Back-to-back jacks for Harmon, his 4th strike of the game, and Harmon with a temporary lead here in the semifinals of the USBC Masters. The conclusion when we return to Vegas.
Batter's up, and so is Jones, checking the sign to the men's room.
Oh, not the first time. He's going over
the Daytona International Speedway.
He's continuing live coverage of the 3rd major of the PBA season, the USBC Masters. Coming your way from the Cashman Center. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson here with you. And that is a look at your #1 seed, John Nolan, practicing, getting loose for his title match. So we fire up the RV. Yeah! Go on the road. Next stop, Denver, the Geico Plastic Ball Championship next week in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Live coverage 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. After that, the Etonic Marathon Open from Indianapolis, Indiana, 12:30 start time for that one. Let's go back to that Geico Plastic Ball Championship real quick, Randy. What exactly does that mean that they're bowling with a plastic ball the whole tournament?
Well, it's kind of like, remember the old IROC series where all the cars were prepared exactly the same? No advantage with bowling balls that week. They're all made exactly the same. All the balls are identical, and it's all old school throwback plastic.
Wiseman with his 4th strike of this match, and 2nd time he's paired them together.
That didn't work.
But he's not happy with it.
Well, this was a board right of the shot he went high with in the 4th frame, and he goes light. So that, you know, as a player, you come back scratching your head going, listen, I just missed by an inch to the right, and that ball almost did not make it back to the headboard.
Again, we are even after 6. Well, we have seen a lot of potential 7-10s today.
Because of how
so bad, and I got a ball change right in the middle of the damn game.
Because of how slick the lanes are down lane, the ball's entering the pocket very, very weakly. It's very soft into the 1-3. So what the players try to do to combat that is they try to lower their ball speed and then try to tip it or rotate it a little bit more. And the farther you move in towards the center part of the lane, the more you have to do that. There's Danny Wiseman's frame-by-frame breakdown of location and miles per hour. And notice how the right lane has now caught up. So it's broken down enough to where they don't have to be that much softer on the right. But again, it's the issue of getting your ball to enter the pocket strong enough to get the week 10 out.
And it'll be Wiseman concluding his game on that right lane. So he takes a seat after that 9 spare. Here's Steve Harman. 4 strikes through 6 frames. They have all been paired together. So he's looking for 3 in a row right now in the 7th. Flew by that 10.
Boy, and that was a great shot, too. And to leave a ringing 10 when he could have taken the lead in this match, he really wanted that one. And, you know, it's all about experience and confidence for Steve Harman. He said, you know, I got an exemption out here. I kept my exemption. I then made a show, albeit it wasn't a single show. He says, I'm starting to feel like I belong out here, and I kind of feel like I know what to expect on Sundays under the bright lights.
Well, this is really shaping up to be an intriguing conclusion. Both Wiseman and Harmon opened up with spares in the first frame. After that, frames 2 through 7, they are identical. You see, they both strike in the 2nd and the 3rd, the 5th and the 6th. They both have open frames in the 4th. They both have 9 spares in the 7th. So again, we are even after 7.
You're getting good at this math thing, Rob.
Thanks for jinxing me, Randy.
Wow, good shot.
1 shot roll off if they are tied after the 10th. Harmon 1-0 in career roll-offs. Danny Wiseman 1-4. Wiseman head down, trying to get his focus back. Harmon trying to get the single pin spare in the 8th.
Yeah, and you know what? Steve Harman should be discussed in those last 2 shots. He pured him. He was on a double, had a chance to really put some pressure on Danny Wiseman, and he got robbed. Ring and 10, ring and 10.
But you can't get down on that. You're hitting good shots. Do you even make adjustments on those?
I wouldn't, and I'm not saying he's getting down. He's disgusted. He's mad at the fact that he threw it really well and did not get credited for it. Down, no. Maybe a little ticked off? Yes, absolutely.
You'll never guess. You'll never guess.
Good guess on the ball change.
Wiseman looking for a 9 spare, just like Steve Harman did in the 8th. This is remarkable. Carbon copy bowling. I mean, this is really bizarre.
It's a good match, and it's going to come down to the 9th and 10th frame. And right now, Danny Wiseman did make the change. He leaves another ringing 10. So he goes double, blower 7-10, 10 falls late, 10 pin. Steve Harman goes double, ring and 10, ring and 10. A spare here, raw, knotted up.
Experience-wise, as we head into our final 2 lanes, you have to give the edge to Wiseman. Again, this is Harman's first career singles appearance, but momentum-wise, from what you've been seeing maybe the last 4 or 5 frames, who's got the edge right now?
I think Harman does, because Danny Wiseman's going through transition right now, meaning that he said it after he threw the strike when he went blower 7-10 in the 7th frame, that he has to make a ball change, and it happened right in the middle of this match.
Come on.
So Wiseman takes some time right now. And Harmon has to sit and continue to think. Is this a little mental game plan here too?
He's changing tape and making sure that he's going to get a good feel and trying to calculate the adjustment that he's making over and over in his head and convince himself it's the right one.
And it was. Huge strike for Wiseman in the foundation frame.
Large!
And in charge. Now, Leonis falls to Harmon.
Danny Wiseman is truly a wise man. What a great adjustment. That's 10 back, my friend.
So Harmon, let's see if the streak can continue. Can he match Wiseman with a strike here in the 9th? On the right lane.
damn it. What was that?
I'm sensing by his verbals he's not happy with it.
Not his best shot. Left of target, doesn't like it as soon as he lets go of it.
Oh, hell, God! God damn it. Oh, two.
Very important spare conversion there.
All right, so maybe that prediction earlier, maybe
It's not over. It's not over.
Maybe not so good, but Steve Harman can strike out in the 10th frame to shoot 211. That would force Danny Wiseman to get the first hit and go 9 spare to win by 1. Am I right with that, Mike Edwards? Mike Edwards is giving me the nod. Yes, you are.
How come you didn't ask me if that was right?
Because you already admitted to not being great with the math.
We begin the 10th. Here's Harmon down 2.
Oh, yeah, that's even better. That was, it's the worst shot you've thrown off week. God.
Our audio engineer back in the truck is developing
bet.
an itchy eyelid right now. It's with the words coming out of Harmon. You want to hear him, but boy, he's skating thin ice.
Boy, did this start to get loose coming down the stretch when he got disgusted with the 2 ringing 10s back to back, and I think that kind of got him off track and off his game plan. And with the last 2 shots, real suspect. Oh, that's an open frame. Danny Wiseman's moving on.
Absolutely. That's a tough pill to choke down for Harmon.
They bowled so well all week. To have it end or finish like this was not what he envisioned. And again, it's all part of the learning experience, but you've got to maintain composure coming down the stretch.
This to move on to the title match. Strike number 6 moves him on. He is 1 win away from his 2nd career major, and a life-altering major at that for Danny Wiseman. You know, it's interesting. We talked to Tommy Jones yesterday, Randy, and he said, look, match number 1 between me and Wiseman, we're the 2 veterans. We got the experience. There's going to be some nerves from the next 2 guys, from Harmon and Nolan. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. He saw that as an advantage for, quote-unquote, the older guys, and Wiseman is the oldest guy here of our final 4, and now the final 2.
Rob, if you're Danny Wiseman, it's like the biggest blue light special you've ever seen in your life. I mean, he's taking on a guy with no television experience, no titles. Danny's been here before. He's won this event before. And, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about putting the money in your pocket and putting that trophy up on the mantle. And it doesn't matter how or against who. And Danny Wiseman's in a great position. And I guarantee you he's certainly the favorite going in. But that's why they play the game.
And he may have just figured out those lanes with some struggles throughout this semifinal match. He closes for the 2nd straight match with 4 in a row. 223, 188. That man, Danny Wiseman, moves on to the title match to take on the unknown, John Nolan. When we return, we'll have an updated look at the Player of the Year points race and an inside take on Bowlfest. Hey, Randy, you up for some trick shots?
I am!
So am I! Bowlfest when we return to Vegas. Spin City, Las Vegas, the Cashman Center, and ESPN's continuing live coverage of the USBC Masters. We are preparing for our title match between John Nolan and Danny Wiseman. Again, this a kickoff to the 6-month-long USBC Open Championships and one of the great events surrounding it, Bowlfest, which took place last night here at the Cashman Center.
Bowlfest is, it's a way for the fans, not only here in Las Vegas, but, they come all the way from California to just come out and basically just have fun.
You're a millionaire? No. This is awesome. Anybody who hasn't experienced it really needs to come out and see Bowlfest. It's a great kickoff for the TV show for the Masters. It's one of the major events on the PBA Tour. And everybody was here, kids and senior citizens. We had Carmen Salvino doing some of the commentating while we were bowling and doing trick shots. You see some of the greatest bowlers in the world, and this is what bowling's all about.
I've always been a sucker for those trick shots. You got one in your bag?
No.
All right, carry on.
How about Del Ballard down there trying to get his legs taken out from underneath him?
Getting good and skinny. There's Danny Wiseman waiting for the title match as we take a look at our Geico Championship recap. Randall?
Well, Danny Wiseman took on Tommy Jones in match number 1 and shot 257 at TJ to knock him out of this tournament. And in the semifinal match, Danny then took on Steve Harman. Harman faltered down the stretch in a very tight match. Danny Wiseman threw the last 4 to shoot 223.
And when we return, it is our title match coming your way, commercial free. Number 1 seed, John Nolan, has done his best Tin Cup impersonation all week. Can it continue on payday?
All around the world, men with erectile dysfunction have taken 36.
For Liquidators PBA Tour on ESPN is brought to you by Etonic, the official footwear of the PBA. By Denny's, where America's favorite breakfast is now available to go. Real breakfast 24/7. By Edward Jones, making sense of investing. And by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less.
Oh, some great pictures around the Hoover Dam area just outside of Las Vegas. We are inside the Cashman Center getting set for our title match, the 2009 USBC Masters. And it's one of those old veteran versus upstart matches. Danny Wiseman, the veteran and the number 3 seed today, has moved on to take on number 1 seed John Nolan. The number 1 seed at Masters in a stepladder format, 14 and 15. In those title matches. Only one time has a number 3 seed won the Masters in a stepladder format. That was in 1980 when Doug Kent did it. Danny Wiseman trying to do it as well and trying to join a distinguished list of multiple time victors at the Masters. Drop and give me 10. Title match opening strike for Wiseman.
12 career victories, including 1 major for Danny Wiseman. He has a very, very strong television record.
John Nolan has no television record.
That is correct.
0 TV debut. Waterford, Michigan, about 40 minutes northwest of Detroit. He's been a lifer there in Waterford. John Nolan went to the same high school as Kurt Gibson and Pat LaFontaine.
A little bit of a throwback style here, late timing. Gets to the foul line, kind of straight-legged, bent over at the waist and rips through it at the bottom. He's got huge forearms.
Look how low that ball gets before the backswing. So Nolan, frame number 1, starts with a spare. Over the first 6 events of this second half of the season, PBA players have been competing in a separate point list sponsored by H&R Block, the H&R Block West Coast Swing. The winner will receive 5 years of tax preparation and a $5,000 H&R Block Emerald prepaid MasterCard. Tune in next week when we're in Denver and we will announce the winner. Just another reason to watch.
Could sure use one of those $5,000 Emerald cards.
I hear you barking.
That looked pretty good. And, you know, we've talked about the carry issues that the big hook guys have had today. John Nolan had no problem snapping the 10 out on that shot.
And a big old smile on his face, very comfortable as he takes a seat and watches the 41-year-old Danny Wiseman. This is his 20th year on the tour, looking for his 13th tour title and 2nd major victory. opening jacks for Wiseman. And Wiseman looking for his second Masters today. And here he is on possibly winning it today.
Well, it's a very prestigious event, and to win it a second time would be just outstanding. Very short list of guys who've ever won it twice. I would be one of those. You know, it's already, you know, a wonderful feeling to have won it once. To do it again 5 years later, it would cap it off.
Only 6 have multiple Masters victories. See the last 5 winners of this tournament. Opens up the title match with the Turkey.
And the only player to ever successfully defend a Masters title is the late, great Billy Whaley.
One at a time.
Danny Wiseman's been here before. He's made the adjustment. He feels confident with the adjustment, and now it's just a matter of staying within himself.
John Nolan described himself as a, quote, local bowler to us yesterday. Smooth rolling John Nolan with his second strike. He runs a pro shop, Bud's, up there in Waterford. Prior to that, he owned his own landscape company. Just gave it to his brother, Kirk, in 2005. Didn't sell it to him, just gave it to him. Kirk here in attendance. He said he joined the PBA in 06. His first tournament ever was this tournament, the Masters. He rolled 7 events that season, had a wrist injury, which took him out of competition. Last season, he bowled the qualifier in Grand Rapids and the U.S. Open. He is an exempt bowler next season due to winning the RPI, the Regional Players Championship. That one heavy and through the nose. A win today, though, again, $60,000 paycheck and a 2-year exemption. He was telling me earlier today, look, I am going to be exempt for the rest of my bowling career. That's how confident he is. But he's also said, it'd be nice to get it over early, get that 2 years in my back pocket so I can kind of learn and adjust my game. But he's in a 13-pin hole early here to Danny Wiseman. Well, and that ball hits the wood hard on initial impact.
And, you know, there was a lot of players that were very impressed with him this week. Parker Bone III called him, wished him, you know, the best of luck, gave him some advice for television. Tommy Jones was emphatic, saying that John Nolan dominated this event. And right now, hey, you know what? He's off to a decent start for a guy that's never been here.
Wiseman off to a flawless start here. Looking for 4 in a row. No ham bone for you.
Missed it. Yeah, and not a lot of hand in that either. It was a pretty soft hand at the bottom, and that's why the ball was less than enthusiastic going through the 1-3 pocket. And you heard Danny say it, just missed it just a little bit.
That his 9th single pin spare conversion of the afternoon, just one open frame, and that came in the semifinal match versus Steve Harman. So rarely has he been really tested spare-wise today.
And I think it's interesting that this title match is shaping up a little bit like last week's match in that you've got one player playing the deep inside line, the other player playing further right. Danny Wiseman's a good 10.5 boards right of John Nolan. Rob, to me, that looked like a pretty good shot, and I guarantee you there is going to be an adjustment coming up for Danny Wiseman the next time he is up on this left lane.
So leaves the 4-pin, looking for his 2nd consecutive single pin spare conversion. So he had a firm grasp on this one in the beginning with an opening 3-bagger. Now he's given away some of that lead to Nolan. Again, John Nolan earned the top seed when he went 6-0 in the double elimination bracket to be the #1 seed. Was was a top seed through match play as well. I mean, he was pretty much wire to wire number one.
Yeah, and if you end up losing your first match in this event and you head down to the losers bracket, you're there all day long.
10-pin party in the pit there for Nolan as we take an updated look at the Denny's Player of the Year points list, and there is now a tie on top. Norm Duke, who finished 5th here, received 2 points, which pulled him into a tie with Wes Malott for number 1. A win here today for John Nolan. He goes to 24 points, and just like that would be tied for 7th with Mike Scroggins. No shortage of confidence or hair gel in this young man. Big strike from Nolan, back-to-back jacks.
And Rob, you talked a little bit about his wrist injury, but that wrap on his right wrist, that's just preventive medicine these days. He said he's been pain-free for about 8 months. He said he's learned how to bowl. He learned how to stop yakking on it at the bottom of the swing, alleviated some of that pressure in his wrist, kind of like that last shot he threw right there.
Wiseman coming in here in the 6th after back-to-back 9 spares. And he'll have another 9 spare opportunity here.
Well, just another 10-pin, and with a spare, this match will draw even. Danny Wiseman had a bit of this in the last match against Steve Harman. A little tennis match going on right here, a chess match where it's back and forth, a lot of strategy, a lot of micro adjustments, and a lot of exhaling.
Even after 6. As of now. So essentially, it is now a 4-frame championship match. But Nolan's sitting down, having thrown back-to-back strikes. Wiseman hasn't struck since the 3rd. And a 7-10 at a horrendous time.
Made the move.
And there was the adjustment.
I made the move.
Off of the 4-pin, Danny Wiseman moves in just a little bit.
Now.
The ball comes in very soft, very late. And there's your pocket 7-10. And it couldn't happen. The worst possible moment.
Yeah, right.
So he slams the 7 in, open frame here in the 7.
Right.
And you see where the players are playing. Well, that's targeted at the arrows. Danny Wiseman just right a 2nd arrow. John Nolan just right a 4th arrow.
Nolan averaged a 230.39 over 33 games this week, was 8th last week at the Denny's Dick Weber Open. Leaves the 10. We talked earlier that Parker Bone III gave him a phone call, and he said to him, look, you proved it to us this week. Now prove it to the world and go out there and bowl a good game. He said, I was really only nervous once this week. And he said, I don't care about the pressure. He didn't mean that in a flippant way, but just not cocky, but just confident. Like, I'm out here, I'm bowling. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is my job.
Well, and he really showed a lot of moxie in that last shot that he threw when he left the ring in 10. And I'll tell you why. Danny Wiseman gives him a huge opening. He's working on a couple of strikes in a row. He knows that he can just really put it to Danny Wiseman, really step on his throat. And he gets up and pures it. Now, he leaves a ring in 10. However, the shot was beautifully executed.
We begin the 8th of our title match. Nolan now on top by 12. Oof. Wiseman had the 7-10 he had to deal with in the 7th. And now
run out too big for us. That's fun.
And this couldn't have happened at a worst possible moment for John Nolan. Has the big lead, and all of a sudden leaves the big 4 minus the 7 pin. And how about just letting Danny Wiseman right back in when you had control of the match? Danny Wiseman now takes a 2-pin lead, sitting on the bench.
You talked in the beginning, you kind of compared Nolan to a prize fight here in Vegas. You know, how is he going to react to that first big punch that he takes? Are his knees going to buckle? Is he going to be flat on the canvas, or is he going to take it and come back swinging? Well, this is his first big hit, an open frame in the 8th.
Yeah, he just got a stiff jab in the 8th. Let's see if Danny Wiseman can now finish him off with a right and a left hook.
Wiseman is off, has not struck since the 3rd frame.
Back
That's
to
exactly
Nolan.
what I wanted to do, too.
I mean, Danny likes this one off his hand and leaves a 2-8-10, and he can't believe it.
Second consecutive open frame.
And Rob, looking at the Cats numbers, his speed was right where it's been this entire match.
That wasn't that bad.
So it wasn't a speed thing. It may have been an adjustment left and caught maybe a strip of oil there that really pushed his ball down the lane and kept it from hooking.
This is interesting. Wiseman really kind of staggering in here until the 9th, but if you look at his 2 previous matches, he concluded by striking out in the 9th and the 10th. He closed out with 4 baggers in both matches. He's got to do it here in the title match as well. Big strike.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. That is huge and sets up the 10th frame now for Danny Wiseman. He can still shoot 213. John Nolan's at 202. If he spares and strikes out, what a beautiful shot. The dilemma, however, for Danny Wiseman is he has to finish on the right lane.
The lane that John Nolan is getting set to approach right now. So Nolan's last 2 frames, a 9 spare in the 7th and an open frame in the 8th, looking to become just the 18th bowler to win a major as their first ever PBA Tour title, an amazing accomplishment. What a response from Nolan.
And interestingly enough, the last person to win a major for their first title was Brian Smith at the 2003 Masters.
So now Nolan will step up and conclude his title match here in the 10th, and then take a seat and watch Wiseman. But Nolan can walk away with a win before Wiseman even rolls. 2 strikes and then 2 pins. That's all he needs.
Big 4 last time on that left lane. Biggest shot of his bowling career. Gets up in the 10th frame and almost disaster again. Extremely fortunate only to leave the 2 pin. He's opened the door now for Danny Wiseman to get up in the 10th frame and steal this championship away from John Nolan.
Nolan's got to take care of this 2 pin.
Now he's thinking, what could have been? What could have been if I would have just struck out in the 10th? I would have been $60,000 richer. I would have had my first ever career title. It would have been a major. Now I'll have to sit and wait and see what Danny Wiseman has to offer in the 10th frame.
And we have seen some bizarre conclusions this season already. Walter Ray Williams Jr. in Reno with
leaving the
title in
8-10.
hand.
Yeah.
This is by no means done. By no means. shot. Nolan takes a seat. His day done. Is the title his? Is 202 enough?
And that's a huge shot, him striking on the fill shot, because it now forces Danny Wiseman to get 2 in the 10th to win. If John Nolan would have gotten 9 on his fill shot, Danny Wiseman could have gone strike 9 spare to win by 1. Now, strike 9 spare, we have a tie. Danny Wiseman, to have any chance to win his second USBC Masters, he must strike on this ball.
No strike, no dice, Nolan your winner. Exhale, young man, exhale and enjoy.
The right lane was the undoing of Danny Wiseman. He lost this lane a couple of shots ago, and guess what? It finished him in the 10th frame.
Two-year exemption has just been handed to that man. Not to mention a $60,000 payday. Rocky has won. And for Danny Wiseman, this defeat,
let's try this ball,
means more than anything that he is that much closer to retirement from what he was telling us yesterday. And he was already pretty darn close. Gets a strike there on the ball change. What a wonderful run from the 41-year-old Danny Wiseman. But the 29-year-old John Nolan,
the man, brother.
His first ever Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour title, and it comes at the USBC Masters. Lift it and enjoy it, young man.
What a likable young man. He was really composed today. It was amazing to watch. People at home watching just don't understand how difficult it is to control your emotions, especially your first time being on television.
There's his mom, Deborah, in attendance. What a wonderful moment. A hug from his brother. And next week we are in Denver. Can the Nolan magic continue at the Geico Plastic Ball Championship? Live coverage at 1 Eastern. Only 17 bowlers have made their first PBA win a major victory. Time to update that one. 18 have now done it, courtesy of smooth rolling John Nolan.
Oh, man.
For Randy Peterson and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. We'll see you next week in Denver. Congratulations to John Nolan, your USBC Masters winner.